Lastly, let's take a look at reverb. All right, so let's just say you recorded this in a very dry hall, and for this example, I'm just going to use the spot mic that I use in the recording, which obviously sounds very dry. Now, I obviously don't recommend recording this way, or just using a spot mic and adding reverb later, but for the example, this will at least allow me to show you how the reverb parameters work. But I obviously recommend recording in a nice recital hall and using the natural reverb of a hall as opposed to using artificial reverb. It will always sound better, trust me. But for this example, let's take a look at how we would set it up. So I'm going to go back to the mix window. I'm going to add an aux track here in Pro Tools, a stereo aux input, hit create. We'll call this verb for reverb. If I go up to sends on the spot mic, and I'm going to go bus 1 and 2. All right, obviously this is a little bit more involved. This is kind of giving you a reason not to do this. But let's go to the input of the aux channel, and we'll go bus 1 and 2 so that they match. And then I'm going to put this level to 0 on the aux, which is basically just sending this signal into another channel. All right, it's just like a mixing board uses aux sends if you've ever used those. And then I'm going to go up to the inserts on the reverb. I'm going to go to reverb. We'll use REVERB, the Renaissance verb, the Waves reverb plugin, which sounds really nice. And we'll take a look at some of these parameters. And so reverb type, there's different types. Most reverb plugins are going to have different halls, rooms, chambers, plates, whatever types of reverbs. They all just kind of sound a little bit different, have their own different characteristics. A couple of things that are the most important are time and size. All right, size is just 100 based off of whatever hall I'm using, and we'll just stick with hall 1 for now. And time is the reverb time. A typical recital hall is going to have anywhere between 1 and 3 seconds of reverb tail. All right, and so 240 is actually a really nice reverb tail for just a basic recital hall. So we'll keep it how it is. Everything else, I wouldn't really mess around with too much. And then we'll take this fader down, we'll play. And you can see that we've sent signal into this guy, and it's now going through the reverb. And if I use this fader and I pull it up, you can hear how it adds the reverb sound. And so by using this fader, I can basically adjust how much reverb I'm using. All right, that might be a little much. The time is kind of a lot too for a smaller recital hall, so let's make it like 1.8. Let's try it again. Yeah, so that's pretty nice. And so that's basically how I would use a reverb in Pro Tools. If we go to Audacity, it's a little bit different because we can't really use aux sends. So what we would have to do is we'd have to select this entire track, which I've already normalized here. And we're going to go to Effect. We'll go to Reverb. And it's just a basic free reverb plugin that comes with Audacity, and we can adjust the different levels. You have room size, so we can adjust. It's just one room. They don't have different ones like the Renaissance reverb. And so you just adjust the size of the room, and then we can also adjust the wetness of it. So that is basically what our fader was on the aux input, and so I can adjust the different ones so you can hear how this sounds. All right, so obviously it's a little bit harder because we can't really preview what it's going on until we actually print it to the actual track, and so we have to go back and check the different levels. So I definitely don't recommend doing that, and if you're just using Audacity. But that's basically reverb in a nutshell. Okay, so that just about wraps everything up for this tutorial. I hope it's been useful for you. Obviously, there's a lot more to it, to the mastering phase, but hopefully this at least gives you the first step towards making your recordings sound a little bit better. So hopefully you can use those techniques in the first video to get a really good recording from the start with good miking techniques, and then use some of these tips that I've given you on mastering to make it sound that much better and give you a leg up on everyone else who's sending in recordings for competitions or auditions or anything else. Thanks for watching. Thanks so much to Steve Darling again at ITEA for giving me the opportunity to make this video. Also, if you haven't already done so, go check out my website at philipbroom.com. Go to the audio engineering section, and I've got a lot of resources, educational resources, about all the techniques that I've discussed in these videos, and I go even more in depth with all of those techniques. So go check that out. Thanks again for watching. Until next time.